BBC chief Tim Davie apologised. The BBC's Director General Tim Davie and Head of News Deborah Turnus have resigned over editing of Trump's speech. Defamation, said Trump.
Hello, good evening. Tim Davie has tonight resigned as Director General of the BBC, along with the CEO of BBC News, Deborah Turnus, after a week of criticism of BBC News coverage and allegations of editorial mistakes.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you, and we fight. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy, and after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women, and we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. But I said, something's wrong here, something's really wrong, can't have happened, and we fight. We fight like hell, and if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. Our exciting adventures and boldest endeavors have not yet begun.
What happened here today was an insurrection incited by the President of the United States. Those who choose to continue to support his dangerous gambit by objecting to the results of a legitimate democratic election will forever be seen as being complicit in an unprecedented attack against our democracy.
The longest shutdown in U.S. history is over after President Donald Trump signed a funding bill to reopen the government. The House approved the bill earlier tonight in a 222 to 209 vote, with nearly every Republican and a handful of Democrats voting for it.
On this vote, the yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
Speaking to the reporters at the Oval Office during the signing of the bill, POTUS said,
For the past 43 days, Democrats in Congress shut down the government of the United States in an attempt to extort American taxpayers for hundreds of billions of dollars for illegal aliens and people that came into our country illegally, from gangs, from prisons, from mental institutions. They wanted to pay them $1.5 trillion, which would have really hurt our healthcare businesses and our recipients at levels never seen before. Today we're sending a clear message that we will never give in to extortion, because that's what it was. Many of these unions and non-unions. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats shut down this cost the country $1.5 trillion, this little excursion that they took us on. Republicans never wanted a shutdown and voted 15 times for a clean continuation of funding. There's never been a time when one or the other party ever didn't sign a continuation. It's just a continuation, not a big deal. It's a continuation, and we'll talk later. Over the past 7 weeks, the Democrats' shutdown has inflicted massive harm. They caused 20,000 flights to be canceled or delayed. They departed so many times, so late. People were hurt so badly. Nobody's ever seen anything like this one. This was a no-brainer. This was an easy extension. But they didn't want to do it the easy way. They had to do it the hard way. And they look very bad, the Democrats do. They deprived more than 1 million government workers from their paychecks and cut off food stamp benefits for millions and millions more Americans in need. They caused tens of thousands of federal contractors and small businesses to go unpaid, and the total effect of the damage their antics caused will take weeks and probably months to really calculate accurately.
Jealous Republicans can't digest Mamdani's New York win. Republicans vow to block Mamdani from taking mayor's office. Republican lawmakers demand investigations into his naturalization. Can Indian origin Zohran Mamdani's citizenship be revoked? Rules decoded.
I am Muslim.
After making history as New York City's first Muslim and South Asian mayor-elect, Indian origin Zohran Mamdani now faces the fury of the Republican establishment. His landslide win has sent shockwaves through the U.S. political landscape and triggered fierce backlash from GOP lawmakers. Several Republican politicians are openly vowing to block him from taking office, calling his win a threat to American values. Leading the charge is U.S. President Donald Trump, who has once again turned his wrath on New York. Trump renewed his threat to choke off federal funds, calling the 34-year-old Indian origin mayor-elect a communist and questioned his citizenship. He's amplified false claims that Mamdani is ineligible to hold public office, despite no credible proof. Now, Republican lawmakers are demanding investigations into his naturalization process. They are pushing to have his U.S. citizenship revoked and even calling for his deportation back to Uganda. Republican Congressman Andy Ogles said, if Mamdani lied on his naturalization documents, he doesn't get to be a citizen, and he certainly doesn't get to run for mayor of New York City. A great American city is on the precipice of being run by a communist who has publicly embraced a terroristic ideology. He added, the American naturalization system requires any alignments with communism or terrorist activities to be disclosed. I'm doubtful he disclosed them. If this is confirmed, put him on the first flight back to Uganda. While Republican Party's Randy Fine said, the barbarians are no longer at the gate, they're inside. And Mamdani, having just moved here 8 years ago, is a great example of that, becoming a citizen. Look, it is clear with much of what I have read that he did not meet the definition to gain citizenship.
After all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate.
American immigration law experts say Mamdani's citizenship is legally sound.
Breaking news. Next news item, oh, it's breaking fast. Next news item, blink and it's gone.
Trump's H-1B visa. The U-turn.
The H-1B visa, the lifeline for thousands of skilled foreign workers in the United States, is once again at the center of debate. This time, President Donald Trump has surprised many by defending the very visa program his administration has been cracking down on. Speaking to Fox News' Laura Ingraham, Trump appeared to soften his stance on aggressive immigration reforms. When asked if his administration was planning to deprioritize H-1B visas, Trump said, "You do have to bring in talent." When the host countered, "We have plenty of talent," Trump sharply responded, "No, you don't." He elaborated further, saying the U.S. lacks certain specialized skills, especially in sectors like defense and technology. Quoting Trump, "You don't have certain talents, and people have to learn. You can't take people off an unemployment line and say, 'I'm going to put you into a factory. We're going to make missiles.'" But Trump's latest comments come amid his administration's fierce criticism of the program, and after a major policy move that stunned employers. In September, Trump signed a proclamation imposing a $100,000 application fee for new H-1B visa petitions, a steep increase aimed at discouraging misuse. So while Trump now acknowledges the need for skilled foreign professionals, his policies continue to send mixed signals, balancing between protectionism and pragmatism. For thousands of Indian tech workers and companies depending on cross-border talent, the coming months will reveal whether Trump's words translate into policy relief or tougher barriers ahead.
You are watching Sanglikar's Weekly.
The new H-1B vision is come, train, go home.
President Donald Trump has unveiled a new approach to America's H-1B visa program. Despite his administration's ongoing crackdown on visa abuse, Trump says the U.S. must bring in global talent where American skills fall short. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent called it a knowledge transfer model. Foreign experts will train U.S. workers, then return home once the jobs are localized. Here's what the new plan means for tech, manufacturing, and global talent flows. The plan targets industrial revival, semiconductor growth, and reduced import reliance.
Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent stepped in to clarify. Speaking to Fox News host Brian Kilmeade, Bessent explained that Trump's new H-1B approach isn't about replacing American workers. It's about training them. He described the plan as one that invites foreign experts to the U.S. for a limited period, typically 3, 5, or 7 years, during which they would help American workers learn advanced skills in industries where the U.S. has fallen behind. Quoting directly, Bessent said, "I think the president's vision is to bring in overseas workers who have the skills for 3, 5, 7 years to train the U.S. workers. Then they can go home, and the U.S. workers will fully take over." So while the headlines might have suggested a shift toward pro-immigration openness, what emerges from Bessent's remarks is a clearer picture, that the Trump administration's so-called New H-1B policy is really about importing skills, not workers, and exporting knowledge, not jobs. As the global tech and manufacturing race intensifies, this policy could redefine America's relationship with foreign talent, from one of dependency to one of training and transition. Whether it works or not remains to be seen, but for now, Washington seems clear. The new H-1B vision is come, train, go home.
Sanglikar's Weekly, the ink never dries. Sanglikars Weekly, it's all here for you.
Like, more Epstein files to tumble out of closet showing Trump connection. So, excitement for New York Times. That's all.
Tonight, growing fallout over the Trump administration effectively closing the case of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, as many of the president's supporters demand more information.
How many of you are satisfied? You can clap. Satisfied with the results of the Epstein investigation? Clap.
This weekend in Florida, Epstein, a frequent topic at a summit hosted by the conservative group Turning Point USA.
The reason why we wanted Trump to be president is because he's supposed to get rid of the corruption, drain the swamp, not to protect people that are in Jeffrey Epstein's files.
The uproar comes after Attorney General Pam Bondi, the DOJ, and FBI issued an unsigned memo that said there is no additional evidence to reveal in the Epstein case. That enraged many in the MAGA base who are accusing Bondi and the Trump administration of a cover-up. Today, in a sign of where things stand, Bondi joining President Trump at the FIFA Club World Cup final. That after the president posted online saying, Attorney General Pam Bondi is doing a fantastic job. Let's not waste time and energy on Jeffrey Epstein. But that hasn't quieted the fervor or the questions. A source who has spoken to Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino tells NBC News that Bongino is threatening to quit and torch Pam unless she's fired.
Do you have confidence in Attorney General Pam Bondi?
I do. America is safer with Pam Bondi as Attorney General.
Still, Elon Musk, once a close Trump ally and now a frequent critic, posting that the president should just release the files as promised.
Yamiche Alcindor joins us now from Warren, New Jersey. And Yamiche, this isn't just dividing the so-called MAGA movement. We are also hearing from some Democrats, too.
That's right, Hallie. Some Democrats are using this controversy over the Epstein files to criticize the president. Today, one senator said this fight is a sign of the chaos and disorder within the Trump administration. Hallie?
You are watching Sanglikar's Weekly. Like, Pakistan Parliament has given more powers to Army Chief. Official surrender to Army. Asim Munir's military coup in Pakistan, without the military. Pakistan has seen coups and military dictators. The coup being staged by Army Chief Asim Munir is unprecedented. Through the 27th constitutional amendment, Munir is getting sweeping powers. The constitutional coup would dismantle Pakistan's remaining democratic safeguards and permanently alter its civil-military balance.
Pakistan is about to legalize military dictatorship, not through a coup, not through tanks rolling down the street, but through a constitutional amendment. Pakistan's parliament is set to vote the 27th amendment, a measure that will make one man, Field Marshal Asim Munir, more powerful than the President, Prime Minister and Supreme Court combined. This isn't a return to military rule, but the legalization of it. Pakistan's democracy is being rewritten into constitutional dictatorship, military supremacy made law. The amendment creates a new position, Chief of Defence Forces. He will control Pakistan's nuclear arsenal and directly appoint the ISI chief, stripping the Prime Minister of that authority. According to Dawn, the post carries lifetime status. Munir retains his uniform, rank and privileges for life. The amendment also grants him and other officers of Field Marshal rank complete legal immunity, shielding them from prosecution or removal even after retirement. No military ruler in Pakistan history, not Ayub Khan, Ziaul Haq or even Musharraf ever enjoyed such constitutional protection. The amendment goes further. It strips the Supreme Court of its power to review government actions or military appointments. A new federal constitution code will handle such cases, one widely seen as designed to prevent judicial interference in military affairs. This effectively eliminates Pakistan's last institutional check on executive power. Munir won't just rival the president, he will surpass him. The president can be impeached, the prime minister voted out, but Munir, he will be unanswerable and irremovable, a soldier turned permanent sovereign. It is a constitutional coup. Instead of suspending the constitution through martial law, it rewrites the constitution to enshrine military supremacy. The motivations are clear. Munir faced potential legal scrutiny for his tenure as intelligence chief, including allegations of disappearances, extrajudicial killing, and political interference. Lifetime immunity ensures he can never be held to account by future governments or courts. The regional implications are alarming. The ISI, now answerable only to Munir, gains constitutional freedom to operate without civilian restraint, heightening the risk of cross-border escalation with India. In its 77-year history, Pakistan has suffered 4 coups. Each time the military seized power by tearing up the constitution. But this time, Parliament itself is doing the tearing. Once President Asif Ali Zardari signs the amendment later this week, Asim Munir will become the most powerful man in Pakistan's history, beyond law, beyond politics, beyond accountability. And with that, Pakistan's parliament will have murdered the constitution it was sworn to protect.
The Constitutional Court debate, a storm in the judicial world. The talk of the 27th Amendment has sent waves of anticipation through the judicial circles of Islamabad. Despite the absence of a public draft, the proposed changes are already making headlines. But here's where it gets controversial: the potential impact on the Supreme Court's authority. On Friday, the Supreme Court became the battleground for this debate, with a flurry of administrative activities indicating that the Federal Constitutional Court, FCC, might be on its way. And this is the part most people miss: the FCC's proposed home is the Federal Shariat Court, FSC, premises. Sources reveal that the FSC, currently operating with only 3 judges, could be relocated to the 3rd floor of the Islamabad High Court, IHC, building. All FSC judges could be accommodated on 1 floor, leaving the IHC to vacate its 3rd floor, a process already underway. This move has sparked a conversation about the Supreme Court's authority. Justice Jamal Khan Mandakale of the Constitutional Bench assured that a change of building would not reduce their powers. A senior counsel, Faisal Siddiqui, questioned why the FSC was being targeted, suggesting that the adjacent PM Secretariat could be an option. Justice Mandakale's response was intriguing: there has been some progress in your favor. Siddiqui's conviction that the Supreme Court would remain unharmed was met with a witty remark by Justice Mandakale: "If this is the spirit, then why worry?" The debate also touched on the grandness of the Supreme Court's courtroom, with Justice Mandakale emphasizing that a change of building would not diminish the court's powers. In a separate petition, Barrister Ali Tahir urged the SC to protect its constitutional jurisdiction. The petition sought to restrain the federal government from any actions that might curtail or abolish the SC's powers. It argued that the SC's original jurisdiction is an integral part of the Constitution's basic structure and cannot be lawfully diminished. The petition further stated that establishing a parallel constitutional court would be repugnant to the Constitution's Articles 175 to 191. So, what do you think? Is this a necessary administrative realignment or a threat to the Supreme Court's authority?
Pakistan has deployed army and paramilitary forces to protect Sri Lanka's cricket team. This comes just hours after the Sri Lankan Cricket Board warned its players of action if they choose to withdraw from the ongoing tour. Several team members raised security concerns following a bomb blast in Islamabad that killed 12 people. According to reports, at least 8 players wanted to return home before the second ODI in Rawalpindi. The close proximity of Rawalpindi to Islamabad, where the suicide bombing occurred, is said to be a key reason for the players' concerns. In a statement, Sri Lanka Cricket Board said, and I quote, "Several members of the national team currently touring Pakistan have requested to return home, citing safety concerns. Following this development, the SLC immediately engaged with the players and assured them that all such concerns are being duly addressed in close coordination with the Pakistan Cricket Board." The board further stated that if players still decide to return home despite directives, strict action could be taken against them. The board also confirmed that replacements will be named if any players choose to leave. The Pakistan Cricket Board was also forced to reschedule the second and third ODIs. The second ODI, originally scheduled for today in Rawalpindi, will now take place on November 14th. While the third ODI will be held on November 16th instead of November 15th. Pakistan and Sri Lanka are also scheduled to play in a T20 International Tri-Series involving Zimbabwe after the conclusion of the 3-match ODI series.
The German government has announced the dissolution of the Muslim association Muslim Interactive, accusing it of rejecting the country's constitutional order and promoting extremist ideology. The decision marks one of the most significant domestic security actions undertaken this year by Germany's Federal Ministry of the Interior. Early on Tuesday morning, security operations were launched across several German cities. Raids were carried out in 7 buildings in Hamburg, where Muslim Interactive was originally founded in March 2020. According to officials, the coordinated searches were conducted at dawn by federal and regional police units, seizing documents, digital materials, and internal communication records linked to the group's leadership. At a press conference in Berlin, German Interior Minister Alexander Dobrindt confirmed the ban and outlined the government's rationale. "I can state at this stage that we have banned the Muslim Interactive organization because it violates the constitutional order and acts against understanding between peoples," Dobrindt said. These are 2 accusations that we have been able to demonstrate concretely. The minister spoke before a backdrop displaying the seal of the Federal Republic of Germany, describing in detail the findings of the Interior Ministry's investigation. The decision follows months of surveillance, during which German authorities gathered evidence of the association's activities, both online and through in-person gatherings. Dobrindt elaborated on the 2 main legal justifications for the dissolution. The first, he said, concerns actions against the constitutional order of Germany. Muslim Interactive has repeatedly called for the establishment of a caliphate, thus clearly expressing its rejection of democracy and the rule of law, he explained. The second offence, against understanding between peoples, is reflected in the refusal to recognise the State of Israel and the denial of its right to exist. The group Muslim Interactive is believed to have originated from a network of young activists in Hamburg associated with online platforms promoting Islamist ideology. Its content, primarily distributed through social media channels, reportedly called for the creation of a global caliphate and criticized Western democratic systems as incompatible with Islamic governance. German intelligence services have long warned that such messaging contributes to radicalization among younger audiences, particularly through encrypted platforms and short-form video content. The ban places Muslim Interactive among a growing list of organizations dissolved under Germany's domestic extremism laws. Over the past 3 years, the Interior Ministry has expanded its monitoring of groups accused of undermining the Basic Law, the foundation of the German Constitution, or of rejecting peaceful coexistence among communities.
There are rumours of a plot in Labour Party to oust PM Keir Starmer.
Latest figures show that at least 800,000 pensioners are eligible for pension credit but do not claim it.
And as constituency MPs, we are having to support people who are really struggling with the cold and with their financial balances.
There are similar rumours of Putin-Lavrov fallout. Just rumours.
Vladimir Putin has reportedly cast aside his veteran foreign minister Sergei Lavrov in a spectacular fall from grace inside the Kremlin. It is understood that Lavrov has been sent into disgrace after enraging the Trump administration and being frozen out of top-level meetings. According to pro-Kremlin paper Kommersant, an anonymous source said that Lavrov had been absent by agreement but didn't give any further details. Lavrov has been Russia's hardline diplomat for 21 years, and in that time he has earned the nickname Dr. No for his refusal to compromise with the West. Lavrov has vanished from view in recent days, fueling talks of fresh turmoil at the heart of Putin's regime. Lavrov was absent from the Kremlin Security Council session on Wednesday and stripped of his long-held role leading the Russian delegation to this month's G20 summit in South Africa. For the first time, that task has now gone instead to Kremlin insider Maxim Oreshkin. At his last public appearance with Putin in late October, Lavrov appeared to look tense and withdrawn as they hosted North Korea's foreign minister in the Kremlin. Other accounts suggest that Lavrov, who recently said he had no health problems, has been aching to retire, but until now he has been refused by Putin. Russian media say the foreign minister is being blamed for the failure to secure an expected Putin-Trump meeting in Budapest. The blame stems from what insiders labeled a disastrous call between Lavrov and U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on October 21st. The call reportedly soured Washington's mood and prompted Trump to call off the summit. Rumors are now going around that an investigation may have begun into Lavrov's role. Putin's circle is reportedly hunting for an scapegoat to explain why Russia hasn't been able to win international support in the Ukraine war.
Tensions between China and Taiwan continue to escalate. The Chinese Foreign Ministry has expressed anger after the US approved a military sale to Taiwan, the first time in Trump's second term as president. China's Foreign Ministry said it would do what is necessary to defend sovereignty, territorial integrity and security. The comments came after the US approved the sale of fighter jets and other aircraft parts to Taiwan worth $330 million.
The sale of weapons by the United States to the Taiwan region of China seriously violates the One China principle and the provisions of the 3 Sino-US joint communiques, especially the 8117 joint communique. It seriously violated China's sovereignty and security interests and sent a wrong signal to the Taiwan independent separatist forces. China is strongly dissatisfied with this and firmly opposes it.
Japan and China are locked in a new war of words. It began with a statement in Tokyo and has now turned into a diplomatic standoff. The issue? What happens if China attacks Taiwan? Japan's new Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi issued a warning. She said a Chinese attack on Taiwan could threaten Japan's survival. Those words marked a major shift in Tokyo's security stance. Past leaders in Japan avoided mentioning Taiwan directly. But Prime Minister Takaichi chose to spell it out. Beijing called her comments wrongful and dangerous. It lodged a strong protest with Tokyo. Then a Chinese diplomat posted a threat online. The message sparked outrage in Japan. Tokyo called it extremely inappropriate and demanded an explanation from Beijing. This exchange has heightened tensions and brought the Taiwan question back into focus.
You are watching Sanglikar's Weekly. Like, have you noticed that annual UN conference on climate, COP30, is on in Brazil? Inconsequential. The UN's annual climate change conference, COP30, kicks off on Monday in Belém, Brazil. This year's meeting comes as the UN reports a climate breakdown, temperature rise of 2.8 Celsius under current government policies. Though not a signatory to the Paris Climate Agreement, Taiwan plans to send a delegation to discuss the country's decarbonization efforts. Like Nobel laureate who analyzed DNA but was dubbed racist, James Watson, 97, died. And Hungarian author David Shelley has won Booker Prize for his novel Flesh.
The winner of the 2025 Booker Prize is Flesh.
A few words, if you don't mind. I know she's taken the trophy off you, but you can have it back very shortly.
Wow. I think the first person I would like to thank is Alison, the wonderful publicist at Penguin Random House, because she made it very clear to me that I should prepare a few words a few days ago, and now I'm wondering what she knew at that time, or maybe she just says that to everybody. I'd also like to thank the judges, of course. I think I felt Flesh is quite a risky novel, a risky book. It felt risky to me writing it, and I remember Hannah Weston, my editor at Jonathan Cape in London, when we were talking about the title of the book maybe a year ago, wondering aloud whether she could imagine a novel called Flesh winning the Booker Prize, which speaks to something risky about the title, which we felt at the time, I think, and something risky about the book itself in some ways, or unusual, certainly. Anyway, Hannah, you have your answer, I guess. And I think it's very important, this sense of risk, which I keep coming back to, and which was there throughout the process of writing the book for me, and throughout various discussions when we were editing the book and deciding on the title and stuff. There was a sense of risks being taken, and I think it's very important that we did take those risks. I mean, obviously it's easy for me to say that now, but I felt that, I think, all along, because I think fiction can take risks. I think it's one of the things that it can do. It can take aesthetic risks, formal risks, perhaps even moral risks, which many other narrative forms can't quite do to the same extent. I think part of the reason for that is just that novels are so relatively cheap to produce. All you need to do is keep one writer supplied with coffee and a few other essentials for a year or two, and you've got a novel. I mean, it's almost free, which means these risks can be taken. And I think it's very important that the publisher, the novel-making community, if I can put it like that, embraces that sense of risk rather than shuns it. One person who definitely doesn't need to be told to embrace risk is my agent, Anna Weber, who I hope feels vindicated in her own risk aversion by a second consecutive Booker winner, which I hope that inspires in others the sort of strategic patience that Anna has always been willing to she has been so patient with her writers and has taken risks in the sense of taking on writers who aren't perhaps immediately, obviously, going to be winners tomorrow or next week, but who knows, maybe 10 years from now.
Amid rumours of death, Dharmendra is home with Hema Malini. He only lives twice. Look at the secularism of Bollywood. Zareen Khan, wife of Sanjay Khan, was a Parsi lady, married to a Muslim, but cremated as per Hindu rites, by her Muslim son Zayed. Farah Ali Khan, Zareen Khan's daughter, wrote on social media post, "My mother Zareen Khan was a very special woman. Her philosophy of affair was to forgive and forget. She was kind-hearted, loved by all her friends and family, and cared deeply for one and all. She was the bond that kept our family together. Born a Parsi, married as Muslim and cremated according to Hindu rites. She epitomized humanity and is someone whose legacy we hope to live." Like all posts of Mumbai Cricket Association are grabbed by politicians. Too bad. The Ajinkya Naik panel has swept the Mumbai Cricket Association elections, with Naik himself re-elected as president. He was elected unopposed for the second consecutive term, as members of his panel secured 12 of the 16 positions. It's a victory for our Maidan clubs, secretaries, and every cricketer, men and women. This win belongs to the entire Mumbai cricket family, Naik said after the results were declared on Wednesday evening. He was backed by some of the most influential figures in Mumbai cricket, including Maharashtra Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis and Sharad Pawar, a former head of the MCA, the BCCI, and the ICC. And finally, I liked Bachi Kakaria's comment, "Hippocratic oath is now doctored."
A physician named Hippocrates wrote an ethical code that would shape the future of medicine. Known as the Hippocratic Oath, it bound healers to uphold the highest standards of patient care and confidentiality. As students of Hippocrates gathered to take the oath, they pledged to practice medicine with integrity, avoiding harm and injustice. The weight of these words resonated through the ages. One key tenet of the oath was the commitment to never misuse medical knowledge for personal gain or harm. It set a precedent for the sacred trust between physicians and those in need of healing. Despite the passage of centuries, the principles of the Hippocratic Oath continue to guide modern-day doctors, reminding them of their noble duty to serve humanity and uphold the values of compassion and respect.
Hippocrates, often regarded as the father of medicine, revolutionized healthcare in ancient Greece. His emphasis on observation, diagnosis, and ethical medical practices laid the foundation for modern medicine. The Hippocratic Oath, a pledge to uphold ethical standards, continues to influence medical ethics today.
I think Faridabad's Al Falah University teaches transition from RX to RDX.
There are many amazing discoveries made by the great Indian mathematician Srinivasa Ramanujan that shocked the entire world. But today, we are going to talk about something very unique and interesting that is directly related to his date of birth. This special creation is called the Ramanujan Magic Square. Now you might wonder, what is a magic square? It is a square-shaped 4x4 grid like this, with the numbers arranged like this. Now if you take the first row and add all the numbers in it, you get a total of 139. Now if you go to the second, third, and fourth row and add their numbers as well, guess what? You still get 139. Not only that, if you take the first column, the second column, the third column, and even the fourth column, and add their numbers one by one, each of them will also give you 139. Now let's try something different. Add the numbers along the diagonals of the square, both from top left to bottom right, and top right to bottom left. You still get 139. Isn't that amazing? Then you can also pick 4 numbers from the corners of the square, and surprise, you will get 139. Then if you select these 4 squares, or these 4 squares, then also their sum adds to 139. Even more magical is the fact that if you select 4 numbers that form a small box in the center of the square and add them, the answer will still be 139. So now it might seem like 139 is a very special number. But actually, that's not true. 139 by itself is not magical, and there's nothing mysterious about it. The real beauty lies in the first row of the magic square. If you carefully observe the numbers in the first row, you'll notice that they represent the date of birth of Ramanujan. He was born on the 22nd of December, 1887. These values are used to form the first row of the magic square. Now, here comes the really fun part. You can actually make your own magic square using your own date of birth. Yes, anyone can do it. Let me show you how in a simple way. Let's say the date of birth is 4th September 2024, which is the date of birth of your favorite math channel, Brain Station. You break this into 4 parts. Take 04 as A, 09 as B, 20 as C, and 24 as D. This becomes the first row of your square. That is A, B, C, and D. Now, to fill the second row, you take D plus 1, then C minus 1, then B minus 3, and finally A plus 3. For the third row, do this, and for the fourth row, do this. Values can also be negative, so don't worry about that. When you fill all these rows correctly using your birth date, you'll get a brand new magic square that gives you the same total in every row, every column, and both diagonals.
Lazy Bee. The 15th of November, 2025.